Greetings friends, it's your boy Victor here, and we are back with another testosterone update. This is my 10-month testosterone update. So I've now been on low-dose testosterone for 10 months. It's been an amazing, wild time. I continue to find myself feeling more and more myself as the changes come, but today I want to focus specifically on some of the vocal changes that I've noticed, and these are, at this point, kind of minor compared to the major changes I was seeing very early on, but I did still want to take a moment to talk about them. So the first thing that I will note is that in the past month, specifically, there have been a very large number of people who have said, oh my goodness, your voice, or your voice sounds way lower than it did a little bit before. I have a couple of people that I hadn't spoken with in about a month and a half that really just this past week I spoke with again for the first time in a month and a half, and they said, wow, your voice is a lot lower than it was. So apparently, even over the course of the past 1 month, my voice has continued to drop, or maybe I'm just speaking a little bit lower. I'm not exactly sure what that's all about. The second and potentially more interesting thing that I have to say is that this past month I actually went and I sang with a choir for the first time since starting testosterone. Naturally, given world circumstances at the moment, there's not been a lot of communal singing going on, but in this one specific instance, I did join a group of other people, and it was actually a reunion for an old choir, ensemble that I used to be a part of, and we actually assembled, we, got to catch up on each other's lives a little bit, but we also did a little bit of singing. The first thing that I noticed was that I could not read music and sing it the way I used to. I think that I, especially in choir, had gotten very accustomed to how my voice felt in the notes that I was singing. So I could read an F and then I could sing an F. No problem. I know how that felt. I know how it sounds. I can hear it in my head. I can match that pitch in my head to my voice, and I could feel in my voice, generally my voice would go back to the same spot to sing the same notes. And so it was very similar to, when I play the violin and I know certain positions that my fingers can match on the neck will give me certain pitches. It was like that, but with my voice. And the first thing I noticed when going back to choir was that that was not at all the case. In fact, it was a little bit embarrassing just in terms of I was reading the notes and I could hear the music in my head, but I could not make that sound. I could not make that sound match what I was hearing in my head, which I kind of suspected might be a problem just because even in my day-to-day, humming and singing around the house or singing to a track, even it's been a lot more difficult for me to match a pitch in my voice. And I think a lot of that is just me refamiliarizing myself with my voice and the way it sounds and the way it feels. So on top of having difficulty matching the pitches, there is obviously also not the muscle memory there of I read an F, I can sing an F, right? There's definitely a difference there just from that, how does it feel physiologically to produce these notes. To be honest, that rehearsal was a little bit struggly and a little bit embarrassing because this choir is it's pretty good. They're good readers, they're good singers. We make beautiful music, or made, past tense, I'm no longer a part of this group. So we made very beautiful music, and it was I felt like I was around a lot of I don't know, decent musicians, and I was not really performing to the level that I used to be able to, or to the level that others were performing. However, it was awesome to be back with this group of people, having, been a part of this group largely as an alto 2, sometimes singing tenor 1, but really mostly as an alto 2, and coming back into it, singing tenor and baritone parts. That was really fun, and people were surprisingly accepting and supportive about it, which was awesome. I think I have a lot of maybe practicing to do / familiarizing myself with my own voice and kind of how it feels and how I can place notes and how I can relearn what my voice feels like versus what it sounds like and how to match those sounds to what's external to me. I think that was a really good lesson there, just in terms of like, not that there was any negative consequence for being there, right? Like it was totally voluntary for fun, not for a performance or anything like that. And so it was very low pressure. But it was really nice to get to sing as a part of a group like that again in like a familiar environment and a familiar context. But I think it did show me like, hey, we've got a little bit of work to do before we can like jump right back into like ensemble performance in the way that we used to engage. And I don't know why I'm like now all of a sudden using the royal we. When I say we, I really just mean me. I'm just talking about myself here. Aside from that, the changes that I noticed continue to be like minute. I learned actually, this is something that I learned this past week. So I have noticed that being on tea, my urine smells much stronger. I've noticed that my urine actually smells often like buttered popcorn, which is really gross and kind of weird. And I learned this week that that buttered popcorn smell just means that you have a lot of protein in your diet. So yeah, fun fact. So it may not actually be the testosterone after all that's making my urine smell that much stronger. Maybe the strength of smell is testosterone, but the characterization of that smell is maybe more diet related. So yeah, hopefully that's not too gross. I feel like I just kind of overshared with the internet. Whoops. All right, that's all I've got for you today. I hope that you're doing well and have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.